The longer a woman is single, the more she begins to realize her own worth. At first, being single can feel like a space of uncertainty, like she is missing something or someone to validate her. Society often conditions women to think that their value is tied to who they are with, or whether they have a partner to prove their desirability. But as time passes, that perspective begins to shift. She learns, often through experience and reflection, that her worth cannot and should not be measured by anyone else's approval. Instead, she starts to define it for herself, and that definition becomes stronger the longer she stands on her own. With time, she learns the difference between attention and appreciation. She begins to notice that anyone can offer compliments or temporary interest, but not everyone has the ability to truly value her. And because she no longer rushes to fill the silence or chase validation, she sees clearly who respects her for her essence and who is simply there for convenience. Her worth becomes less about how others see her and more about how she has come to see herself. That inner recognition is powerful because once she understands her own value, she can never go back to accepting less. Being single allows her to step away from patterns she might have once tolerated. Maybe in the past she excused disrespect or overlooked inconsistency because she wanted to hold on to someone who showed her even a little bit of attention. But over time, she realizes that she deserves consistency, honesty, and loyalty not as luxuries, but as the bare minimum. And this realization only deepens as she spends more time investing in herself. The longer she is single, the less she feels the need to explain her standards to anyone because they are rooted in self-respect and lived experience. Her worth also grows in the quiet moments when she discovers what truly makes her happy without relying on another person to provide it. She begins to travel, to create, to build her career, to nurture her friendships, and to strengthen her mind. And in doing so, she realizes she is not incomplete, she is whole. A partner may add to her life, but they cannot define it. This understanding gives her a freedom many overlook, the freedom to choose love because she wants it, not because she needs it. And this is where her confidence begins to shine. A woman who knows her worth is magnetic. She no longer doubts herself or questions whether she is enough. She knows she is, because she has proven it to herself day after day, year after year. She doesn't settle for half-hearted love, for broken promises, or for someone who cannot meet her with the same level of commitment she is willing to give. Her value isn't negotiable, and because of that, people sense her strength before she even speaks it. The longer she is single, the more she realizes that love is not about filling a void, but about sharing abundance. She has built herself up so strongly that she no longer fears being alone, and that is what makes her presence so powerful. She can walk into any room, any relationship with her head high, because she knows her worth isn't tied to whether someone chooses her. It is tied to the fact that she has already chosen herself, and when she finally does open her heart again, it will not be out of desperation. It will be out of recognition that the person standing in front of her sees her the way she has learned to see herself. That kind of love is different. It is deeper, stronger, and lasting, because it is built not on fear of being alone, but on the confidence of knowing her worth. Because in the end, the longer a woman is single, the more she understands she was never waiting to be chosen. She was learning to choose herself first. The longer a woman is single, the more she learns how to stand on her own and build her independence in ways that transform her from the inside out. At first, solitude can feel uncomfortable, almost like a silence that is too loud. Many women are conditioned to believe that life only feels complete when they have someone by their side. But over time, she discovers that being single is not a void to be filled. It's an opportunity to strengthen herself. Each day she spends alone teaches her that she doesn't have to wait for someone else to provide her happiness, security, or sense of purpose. She learns to create it herself, and in that process, her independence becomes her greatest source of power. One of the most significant shifts she experiences is financial independence. Without leaning on someone else for stability, she begins to manage her own resources, build her career, invest in her passions, and create a foundation she can stand firmly on. This isn't just about money, it's about freedom. The freedom to make decisions, to chase opportunities, to pursue dreams without hesitation or compromise. She begins to realize that she doesn't need anyone to rescue her or carry her, because she is capable of carrying herself. That confidence radiates in the way she walks, speaks, and moves through the world. Alongside this, she develops emotional independence. She no longer seeks constant reassurance from another person to feel validated or whole. Instead, she learns how to self-soothe, how to build resilience, and how to nurture her own mental health. She starts to enjoy her own company, finding peace in quiet evenings alone, strength in handling challenges by herself, and joy in discovering what makes her feel alive. She learns that loneliness is not something to fear, but something to transform into growth. This emotional independence doesn't close her off from love. It prepares her to love without losing herself in the process. Her independence also extends to her choices. The longer she is single, the more she realizes she doesn't need to settle for less just to avoid being alone. She gains clarity about what she wants, what she deserves, and what she will no longer accept. Independence sharpens her standards because she knows she can stand strong whether someone is beside her or not. She isn't driven by fear of missing out or by the pressure of timelines. Instead, she lives life on her terms, choosing relationships not out of need but out of genuine desire. As she becomes more independent, she discovers her passions with greater intensity. She has time to explore new skills, pursue hobbies, travel, and grow in areas that might have been overshadowed if she were relying on someone else for fulfillment. This makes her life richer, more vibrant, and more meaningful. And when she finally decides to share her life with someone, she doesn't bring just pieces of herself. She brings a whole, thriving, fulfilled woman into that partnership. Her independence also shifts the dynamics of love itself. Because she no longer looks to someone else to complete her, she avoids the traps of codependency or unhealthy attachment. Instead, she enters a relationship as an equal, bringing balance, strength, and self-awareness. This allows her to give freely without losing her identity, and it sets the stage for deeper, healthier, and more authentic connections. The truth is, independence doesn't make her hard to love. It makes her love more valuable. Because when she chooses to be with someone, it isn't out of convenience, fear, or pressure. It's a conscious choice made from a place of strength, not weakness, and the person she gives her heart to will know that her presence is not a need but a gift. Because in the end, the longer a woman is single, the more she realizes that her independence is not just her shield. It is her strength, her freedom, and her greatest foundation for love. The longer a woman is single, the more she begins to raise her standards, and not because she has become bitter or too demanding, but because she has learned through experience what truly matters. In the beginning, many women believe that love is about butterflies, excitement, and someone simply showing interest. They might overlook red flags, accept mixed signals, or tolerate behavior that doesn't align with their values just for the comfort of having someone there. But as time passes, and as she spends more of her life on her own, she realizes that settling for less than she deserves is far more painful than being single. With each passing year, she gains a clearer understanding of what healthy love should look like. She learns to recognize the difference between someone who is genuinely invested in her growth and happiness and someone who only provides attention when it's convenient. Time teaches her the value of consistency, effort, and honesty, and she begins to see that charm without substance is empty, and attraction without respect is dangerous. The longer she is single, the sharper her awareness becomes, and she no longer allows herself to be blinded by surface-level gestures that once held so much weight. Being single gives her the space to reflect on her past relationships. She sees the patterns, the mistakes, the compromises she made at the expense of her peace. And instead of carrying resentment, she uses those lessons to refine her standards. She no longer entertains half-hearted love because she knows how much energy, patience, and loyalty she herself brings to the table. Time alone reveals to her that her heart is too valuable to be placed in careless hands, and so her standards rise not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. These standards are not just about what she expects from others, but also about what she expects from herself. The longer she is single, the more she commits to becoming the kind of person who matches the love she desires. She works on her own flaws, heals her own wounds, and takes accountability for her own growth. She understands that high standards are not only about demanding more, they are about giving more too. By holding herself to a higher level of self-respect and self-awareness, she naturally attracts those who reflect that same energy back to her. When she finally encounters new people, her raised standards guide her choices. She doesn't get swayed by smooth words or empty promises because she's no longer desperate to be chosen. She listens more to actions than to declarations. She observes consistency instead of getting caught up in intensity. And she has the strength to walk away when something doesn't align, not because she doesn't feel, but because she knows her feelings should never override her self-worth. This ability to walk away is one of the clearest signs of raised standards. It shows that she values peace over chaos, growth over stagnation, and truth over illusion. Raising her standards doesn't mean she builds impossible walls or demands perfection. It simply means she seeks alignment. She wants honesty instead of games, effort instead of excuses, and partnership instead of dependency. And because she has learned to provide herself with love, joy, and stability, she will no longer accept someone who only takes without giving. She understands now that the right connection isn't about constant struggle or convincing someone to value her. It's about reciprocity, respect, and shared vision. And here's the beauty of it. When a woman raises her standards, she doesn't close the door to love. She opens it wider to the kind of love that truly matters. She invites in people who recognize her value, who celebrate her strength, and who meet her with the same authenticity she has cultivated within herself. She no longer fears that raising her standards will keep her alone, because she knows that being alone while at peace is far better than being with someone who drains her spirit. Because in the end, the longer a woman is single, the more she realizes that her standards are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to ensure only the right one gets in. The longer a woman is single, the more powerful her love becomes when she finally chooses to give it, because by then it is no longer driven by fear, loneliness, or the need for validation. Instead, it is born out of clarity, strength, and conscious choice. When a woman has walked the road of independence, when she has spent years learning her worth and raising her standards, she no longer loves impulsively, she loves intentionally. And that makes her love one of the most powerful forces you will ever experience. She doesn't enter a relationship to complete herself because she already feels whole. She doesn't look to a man to define her because she already knows who she is. By the time she chooses to love, She is not offering pieces of herself in hopes someone will fix her. She is offering the best, most complete version of herself. That means her love is not shallow, not rushed, and not fragile. It is a love built on patience, depth, and understanding. When she finally opens her heart after a long season of singleness, it's not out of desperation, it's out of alignment. She has waited long enough to know that her peace is precious, her energy is valuable, and her trust is sacred. So when she gives those things away, it is because she has found someone who truly deserves them. Her love carries a weight because it's not just affection, it's respect, it's loyalty, it's the decision to share the life she has built for herself with someone who can honor it. And here's what makes it even more powerful. She has learned the difference between needing someone and choosing someone. Need creates pressure, dependency, and fear of loss, but choice creates freedom. When a woman loves by choice, she gives freely, not because she must, but because she wants to. That kind of love is rare because it's not driven by insecurity, it's driven by strength, and when she chooses you, you can feel the difference. You know, she's there not because she can't survive without you, but because she believes her life is better with you. Her time alone also gives her perspective on what real partnership looks like. She doesn't romanticize toxicity, she doesn't confuse chaos with passion, and she doesn't see settling as security. Instead, she knows that true love should feel like growth, not suffocation, like freedom, not control, like peace, not constant conflict. So when she finally invests in someone, she brings all the lessons she has learned, all the strength she has gained, and all the love she has been saving for the right person. Her love is deeper because it has been tested by time, strengthened by independence, and purified by patience. A woman who has been single long enough also understands gratitude in love. She doesn't take commitment lightly because she knows what it means to stand on her own. She appreciates loyalty, honesty, and consistency in ways others might overlook. She doesn't get distracted by superficial gestures because she knows what truly matters is the way someone makes her feel safe, seen, and supported. And when she receives those things, she doesn't just accept them, she reciprocates them with a love that is consistent, intentional, and powerful. The truth is, the longer a woman is single, the more her heart becomes like a carefully guarded treasure chest. She doesn't hand the key to just anyone, but when she does, she opens it fully. And what you find inside is not just ordinary affection. It's love with depth, with passion, with respect, and with a kind of loyalty that cannot be faked. Her love becomes rare, not because she cannot give it, but because she has chosen to reserve it for the one who truly earns it. Because in the end, the longer a woman is single, the more powerful her love becomes when she chooses, because by then, it is not love born from loneliness, but love born from strength.